Hello students, so in previous class we have discussed regarding the factors which are contributed to the evolution. Different factors we have studied in detail. So next we'll move on to the another concept of this chapter, that is Hardy-Weinberg principle or Hardy-Weinberg law. So generally this law, it shows or it establishes the connection between the evolution and the gene frequency. What is the role of gene frequency takes place in the evolution, that is generally it is explained by the Hardy-Weinberg principle. So now let us have a glance what this law states. So according to the Hardy-Weinberg principle, it is defined as in a large population, the gene frequency of various kinds of genes, it remains constant generation after generation under certain condition. What this law states, or this Hardy-Weinberg principle or the law, it is defined as in a large population, the gene frequency of different various kinds of genes, they remains constant generation after the generation under certain condition. Under certain condition, the gene frequency of different genes, they remains constant. So some of the conditions are there for this. So we'll study one by one what are the conditions. So first condition is that the law operates only on a large sexually reproducing population. Means it is applicable or it operates only on the large sexually reproducing population. Second condition is that in this population the mating has to be random. The mating has to be random. And the third condition is that the allele frequencies of male and female should be the same. What does the third condition says? The allele frequencies of male and female should be same. And the next condition is that the alleles genotype are equally viability and the fertility. Right? They should be equal viability and the fertility. So these are the four conditions of the Hardy-Weinberg principle. So next comes the factors. So what are the factors affecting for the Hardy-Weinberg principle? So apart from these conditions, we also got some factors like gene migration or gene flow, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination and the natural selection. So these are the some of the factors which are affecting for the Hardy-Weinberg principle. So in details we have already discussed all these concepts in our previous classes. Just you have to keep in mind what are the factors which are affecting for the Hardy-Weinberg principle. They are gene migration or gene flow, and second comes the genetic drift, and third is the mutation, genetic recombination and natural selection. So these are the some of the factors which are affecting for the Hardy-Weinberg principle, right? So in today's class we are discussing about the Hardy-Weinberg principle. So you have to know the definition and you have to know the factors affecting the Hardy-Weinberg principle. It will be asked for 2 marks important question. So what are the factors affecting Hardy-Weinberg principle? First is the gene migration or gene flow, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination and the natural selection. So these are the factors. So what is the definition of Hardy-Weinberg? Hardy-Weinberg, in a large population, the gene frequency of various kinds of genes, they remains constant from generation after generation under certain condition. Under certain condition, the gene frequency of different genes will remain the same. That's about the definition of the Hardy-Weinberg, and the factors are the important. So conditions, just you have to know what are the conditions which are responsible for this principle. First is that the law operates only in a large sexually reproducing population. Only sexually reproducing, it operates only under the sexual reproducing population. Then in this population the mating has to be random. Then the allele frequency of both male and female should be same. Then the allele genotype are equal in viability and the fertility. So these are the some of the conditions of the Hardy-Weinberg principle. Okay. So next we'll move on to the brief account of the evolution. Right. So we already studied what are the conditions. Everything in detail we already studied evolution. So next we'll move on to the another interesting factor of the evolution, that is the brief account of the evolution. That is what was the condition, means what are the events has been occurred from past to the present, means what are the changes has been occurred. Once again we'll study in the form of the different eras, that is in the form of geologic time scale. Geology, as you already know that geology means the study of the earth. Okay, in earth how the life has been occurred, in which period, what are the different organisms has been occurred, that we'll study now one by one. So what do you mean by geology time scale? Here the geology time scale has been framed show the whole past history of the earth. Okay, so here in the geology history of the earth, it is divided into 5 eras. We will be studying the 5 different eras. What does it says that geology time scale, it has been framed to show the whole past history. That is, what was the condition in the past and till present. What was the condition, what are the changes, and how the organisms, different varieties of plants, animals, how they have evolved in the different eras, we will be dealing now. Fine. So what are the different eras? There are totally 5 eras we will be studying now. First comes the Archaeozoic era, Proterozoic era, Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and last comes the Conozoic era, or it is also known as the modern era of the modern life till today or the present. We can say Archaeozoic, which was taken place about 3000 million year ago. MYA means million year ago. Million year ago. Archaeozoic, it has taken place when? About 3000 million year ago. Proterozoic era, it has taken place around 930 million year ago. Paleozoic era, 345 million year ago. And Mesozoic era, 160 million year ago, and the present, it is a modern era, is the Conozoic era. Fine. So here the beginning and the end of these eras, they are marked by the major events occurred. Means what are the major events has been occurred from beginning, that is from past till the present. They have been occurred in these events, or we will study in detail one by one what are the changes has been taken place. Fine. So first comes the Archaeozoic era, or it is one of the most oldest era, which was occurred about 3000 million year ago. So what was the condition during this era? So as the earth has been started, during that time the temperature was very much high. Archaeozoic, archae means here the organisms, they were having most tolerable capacity. Means they used to tolerate temperature. So here we don't find any fossil records. No fossil records were found in this era, and indirect evidences of life from the organic materials in the rocks were found. Indirect evidences from the organic rock materials were found, and probably unicellular organisms were evolved during this era. Fine. So primitive organisms like unicellular organisms were seen. Not much evidences or records are there in this era. Next comes the second, that is the Proterozoic era. Again in this era, few fossils of sponges and protozoans were seen. Fine. After that, the invertebrates phylums are evolved. So far you have already studied, you already know that what are the phylums which comes under the invertebrates, like from protozoa to echinodermata. Slowly different phylums or the organisms have been evolved in this era. Then apart from these animals, even in case of plants also, bacteria and the blue-green algae and some simple plants are also evolved during this era. That is the Proterozoic era. Fine. So far we have discussed about 2 eras. One is the Archaeozoic era and another one is the Proterozoic era. So what are the changes occurred in the Archaeozoic era? It is one of the most oldest era, which was taken place around 3000 million year ago. So in this era we don't have any much fossil records, and all the primitive organisms, that is the unicellular organisms, were evolved in this era. Then Proterozoic era, during this condition what happens, few fossils were seen, that is of sponges and the protozoans, and apart from this invertebrates, phyla are also evolved here, and some of the plants like blue-green algae, bacteria and some simple plants evolved in this era. Fine. So we are discussing regarding the brief account of this evolution, that is the geology time scale. It has been framed to show the whole past history of the earth, that is from past to present, what are the changes. So we are studying in the form of the eras. This you have to keep in mind. Totally 5 eras we are discussing now. First comes the Archaeozoic era, Proterozoic era, Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era and the Conozoic era. Right. So first comes the Archaeozoic and another one is the Proterozoic era. So next we'll move on to the third one, that is the Paleozoic era. So okay, till now we have discussed about the Archaeozoic and the Proterozoic era. So next we'll move on to the another era, that is the Paleozoic era. So what are the changes has been occurred during this era? So Paleozoic era, here you can see that the many invertebrates phyla up to mollusca. Invertebrates phylus up to mollusca, and vertebrates like fishes, amphibians, reptiles have been evolved. Okay, so compared to the Archaeozoic and Proterozoic, here some of the stronger animals has been evolved like amphibians, reptiles, right? Vertebrates, especially vertebrates like fishes, amphibians, and the reptiles have been evolved in this era. Next, and apart from these animals, some of the plants like marine and the freshwater plants, terrestrial plants like ferns, primitive gymnosperms, and the conifers are also been evolved during this era, that is the Paleozoic era. So next comes the Mesozoic era. So Mesozoic era, or it is also known as the age of the reptiles. Fine. It is known as the age of the reptiles, and in this era we will see that major reptiles and the early mammals and the first bird, large number of insects have been evolved. Okay, so during this era, reptiles, and again in case of the reptiles, we will see that the dinosaurs were seen in this era. They have arisen, and even they got died in this era only. That is the Mesozoic era, or it is also known as the age of reptiles. It is known as the age of the reptiles. So here in this era, you can see that the dinosaurs were seen during this era. So where means present will not see, but we can see only their fossils, fine fossils, and some only records we have got, but there not even single traces have been seen at the present. Fine, that is the age of the reptiles. So here you can see that the rise and the fall of the great dinosaurs took place in this era. The rise and the fall, that is they have got the rise and they got dead in this era only, that is the Mesozoic era. Find what was the main reason for the death of these dinosaurs. The major is the climatic condition. Fine. The major climatic changes were one of the reason for the destruction of these dinosaurs. The climatic condition was the major cause for the destruction or the extinction of these dinosaurs from the Mesozoic era. Fine. This made a way for the evolution of the birds and the mammals. After the extinction of these dinosaurs, there was an this made for the way to the evolution of birds and the mammals, right? And the conifers were dominant, and the angiosperms were also seen during this era. Some of the angiosperms and the conifers were dominant during this era. Fine. So that's the major changes which occurred during the Mesozoic era, or we can also tell it as in glorified era of the reptiles, or glorified era of the reptiles, or the age of the reptiles. So what happens in the Mesozoic era? In the Mesozoic era, just keep in mind, there was a rise and the fall of the great dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs, just we have heard their names and we have seen the images on the movies we have seen, but not yet real, because they were seen long back in the Mesozoic era, which was taken million years ago, right? So that's about the Mesozoic era. So next comes the Chronozoic era, or it is also known as the era of the modern man. Fine, or the present era also, present also we can compare to this era only. So what happens, or what are the changes has been occurred in this era? The radiation of mammals and the primitive primates up to the human beings has been evolved. That is formation or the radiation or the changes in the mammals from the primitive up to the human beings. The changes has been occurred in this era only. So it is also known as the era of the modern life. Then apart from this, even there was, you can see the radiation of the angiosperms. Fine. So this era, it is, that is the era of the modern life. It is also known as evolution of the human society and the culture. So you can see that what are the changes when compared to present our society and the culture, or it comes under this era only, that is the Cenozoic era, or the era of the modern man. So that's about this. First comes your Paleozoic era. So what happens in this Paleozoic era? Many invertebrates up to mollusca and vertebrates like fishes, amphibians, and the reptiles were evolved in this era. Then in case of plants, marine and the freshwater plants, terrestrial plants, ferns, and the primitive gymnosperms were evolved in this era. Next comes the Mesozoic era, which is also known as the age of the reptiles. Here you can see that the reptiles and early mammals and the first birds, large number of insects were evolved in this era. So what is the major cause for the major reason important of this era is there was a rise and the fall of the great dinosaurs which took place in the era. And what was the major is that the climatic changes, which was the one of the reason for the destruction of the dinosaurs. They got extinct because mainly due to the climatic change. Fine. This made a way for the evolution of the birds and the mammals, and apart from this you can also see that major angiosperms were dominant during this era. Fine. Next comes the Cenozoic era or the era of the modern life. So here you can see that there was a radiation in the mammals and the primitive primates up to the human beings, as well as also the radiation of the angiosperm. So these are the changes which has occurred in this evolution, which gives a brief account of the evolution in the different eras. Okay, so now next we'll move on to the last concept of this chapter and the most interesting concept of this chapter, that is the evolution of man, the human evolution. Fine, so what are the events which takes place in our human evolution, our own evolution, how does it has taken place, I will study now. Evolution of man, probably they believe that the evolution of man was first, it has taken place in the East Africa. Because they believe that the first fossil records were seen in the East Africa, right? So thinks that the evolution of human beings it has been taken place in the East Africa. So human evolution it states that the human developed from the primates or ape-like ancestors. So generally they believe that the ape or the primates they are our ancestors. That is from the apes to the human evolution has been taken place, ape or the primates. Fine. So what do you mean by anthropology? Anthropology is nothing but it is the study of human evolution and the culture. Study of human evolution and the culture is known as the anthropology. Right. So next comes the evolution of man. So generally here the evolution of man from ape is supported by the fossils. Evolution of man, it is supported by the fossils. And what are the events which takes place in the evolution of man, that we will study in the form of the evolutionary tree, or the events or the fossils, they are arranged in the order like ape man, primitive man and the modern man. Fine. So generally this will study in the form, the commonly it is known as the evolutionary tree of the man, in the, which they are arranged in the order one by one we will study now. Fine. Next we'll move to the evolutionary tree of man. What are the different eras and what are the different forms, and in that what are the different species has been arised and what is its brain capacity and the features we'll study now one by one. So first comes the apes. So in this order you have to keep in mind, first is the ape, second is the ape man, primitive man and the modern man. Fine. So in the apes we have got two forms, one is Parapithecus and another one is the Dryopithecus. Parapithecus and the Dryopithecus. So here in this form brain capacity is not known here. Fine. So what was the complete development of brain, it is not known in this. But the features, when we study its features, the arms and the legs are equal in size. The arms and legs are equal in size and they feed on fruits and the leaves. The major food was fruits and the leaves, and the canines were large. So here in this Parapithecus and the Dryopithecus, you can see that what was the features of these animals are, the arms and the legs were equal in size. Arms and legs were equal in size. They feed on fruits and the leaves. The major food was fruits and the leaves, and the canines were the large. Fine. So in apes we have came across two examples. One is Parapithecus and another one is the Dryopithecus, and their brain capacity is unknown. It's not found. Next comes the ape man. So again here in ape man we will study two examples. One is Ramapithecus and another one is the Australopithecus. Two examples, one is Ramapithecus and the one is the Australopithecus. So when we study about Ramapithecus, their brain capacity is not known. Again the Ramapithecus brain capacity is not known, but when we study about the Australopithecus, its brain capacity is 450 cc. Right? So what are the features of this Ramapithecus and Australopithecus? They walk similar to the gorillas and the chimpanzees. They look like gorillas and similar, their adaptive features were also like gorillas and the chimpanzees. and they feed on seeds and the nuts. Their food habits were they feed on seeds and the nuts, and they lived on trees, and the canines and insides were small. That is, it is in case of this Ramapithecus and Australopithecus, you can see that the canines and the insides were small. So these are the some of the features which were adopted by the Ramapithecus and the Australopithecus, which are the form of the ape man. Fine. So in the evolutionary of man, we have come across two. One is the apes. In apes, two forms, that is, one is Parapithecus and the one is the Dryopithecus. In the ape man, again we have studied two. One is the Ramapithecus and another one is the Australopithecus. Fine. So Australopithecus, only its brain capacity, it's about 450 cc. So far we already studied what are its features. So next we'll move on to the modern man and the primitive man. Okay. So next we'll move on to the another two, that is the primitive man and the modern man. So again here in the primitive man we'll be dealing with three types of genus or the species. One is Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and another one is the Homo neanderthalensis. Okay. So first comes the Homo habilis. So again in Homo habilis, its brain capacity was about 650 to 800 cc. So Homo habilis brain capacity is about 650 to 800 cc, and Homo erectus, they have got brain capacity about 800 to 1150, 1100, and Homo neanderthalensis, and they have got 1350 cc of the brain capacity, right? So what is the features of this primitive man? So generally this primitive man, they're posture, they were having a fully erect posture, and they were the first tool makers. They were the first tool makers, and their posture was, they were having fully erect posture, and the cannons were small. Okay. Then they hunted the games using the tools which is made up of stones and the bones. The tools which they used for the hunting purpose, it was made up of stones and the bones, and they lived in the caves. So you know that primitive ones, they were living in the caves. They were not living as such in the buildings as we are living now. They were primitive, and they are adapted for the living in the caves, and they protected their bodies with hides or the feathers, and they buried their dead ones. I mean, here you can see that the dead ones were buried. Fine. So these are the features which were adopted by the primitive man. So again in primitive man, we will discuss about three species. One is Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and another one is the Homo neanderthalensis. So they have got different types of brain capacities. That is, in Homo habilis, it is about 650 to 800, and Homo erectus 800 to 1100, and in Homo neanderthalensis it is 1350 cc. Right. So these are the features you have to keep in mind. They were primitive, and their posture was fully erect, and they were the first tool makers. They hunted the animals by using the tools which were made up of bones and the stones, and they were living in the caves. Fine. They were lived in the caves, and their body was covered with the hides, or body was covered with the feather. I mean feathers. I mean not feathers, flesh. They were. Then they were buried. The dead ones were buried. Right. So these are the characteristic features of the primitive man. So next we'll move on to the modern man. So again in modern man, we'll be discussing about two species. One is Homo sapien fossilis, and another one is the Homo sapien sapien. Right? Homo sapien fossilis, and another one is the Homo sapien sapien. So again here in Homo sapien fossils, they have got brain capacity about 1300 to 1600 cc. 1300 to 1600 cc, and in Homo sapien sapien, they have got 1200 to 650 cc of the brain capacity. Fine. So compared to all, that is ape man, primitive man, this modern man is complete. I mean, completely their brain capacity was developed, and their features or the lifestyle was completely different. Like Homo sapien fossils, and they lived in caves, and they made up of made paintings and the carvings in the caves, and they had these strong jaws with teeth, and they closed together. They were developed culture and they were the first modern man with high intelligence. So here you can see that the modern man was the first. I mean, they were the first with the high intelligence. Why? Because they cultivated the crops and they domesticated the animals. And apart from this, they also have learned art, speech, language, and they have learned how to make use of the modern technology, including we human beings. I mean, compared to past and present, there are lot of changes are there, right? We have know how to use the modern technologies and all, fine. So that's about the evolutionary tree of the man. So this is the sequential events in which we come across in the evolution of the man, which is explained in the form of the evolutionary tree, that is from ape man, primitive man and the modern man, fine. So in detail we have studied what is the brain capacity and what are the features which are adopted by this man during the course of the time. Okay, so we have come to the end of this chapter. So these are the some of the important annual questions which were asked for your exams right from 2015, 2014. These are the questions which were repeated in your question paper. So once I'll read, listen. First is what is gene code? It is asked for 1 mark. What are homologous organs and mention the examples. Fine. Homologous organs definition and you have to mention the examples and it was asked for 2 marks. And list the period brain capacity and probable food of Homo erectus and human evolution. It was asked for 3 marks. And what is the adaptive radiation with example. Fine, it will be asked for 2 marks. Then with the need, draw a neat labeled diagrammatic representation of Miller's experiment. So it is for 3 marks. So Miller experiment generally, if the diagram is asked, it will be asked for 3 marks. And with explanation, it will be asked for 5 marks. But Miller's experiment is important. Oftenly it is asked. Next, what is salutation? It will be asked for 1 mark. Name 6 stages in the human evolution in correct sequence, right? For human evolution, the correct sequence you have to mention, it is for 2 marks. Then what is analogous organs? Examples you have to write for 2 marks. Then state Hardy-Weinberg principle, mention the factors affecting the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, fine. And this is asked for 3 marks. Next, differentiate between the homologous and analogous organs and by giving plant example, fine. Homologous organs and the analogous organs. So you have to differentiate them. Then you have to give the examples by taking the plants. Both plants are there as well as animals. But anyone here they have mentioned the plant example. Then name the theory which attempts to explain the origin of the universe. So just you have to name the theory and it is asked for 1 mark. Define genetic drift. Again it is also asked for 1 mark. Mention any 2 examples of evolution by anthropogenic evolution action. It is asked for 2 marks. Next, enumerate the convergent and divergent evolution with suitable example in the plants. Convergent and divergent evolution in the plants and it is asked for the 3 marks. Fine. So these are the important questions, annual questions. So make sure that you are perfect with these questions from the chapter evolution. Fine. So that's all about your evolution chapter. Thank you.